Going on, guys? So doing a live video here. Hope you guys are all having a great day. We're going to give everybody a few minutes to jump on. I decided to start the video a little bit early, but we're actually going to be doing live on Facebook and YouTube. So what's going on YouTube? What's going on Facebook? We're going to be talking about obviously what to expect in prison and, what's it like, because we always kind of talk on that subject. So we're going to wait a few minutes here because it's pretty interesting on some of the information that I found, and I want to share this with the community. So we'll give everybody a couple minutes to jump on, and we will go from there. Hope you guys are having a fantastic weekend so far. I'm going to grab a cup of coffee real quick because I actually forgot to bring it over. So hang tight, don't go anywhere. Sorry about that. It's crazy about man, before federal prison, in order to drink coffee, I would have to put a pound of sugar in it. And now I don't even use sugar anymore. I use just a little bit of sweet and low, because where I was at, they didn't have actual real sugar over at Coleman Low. There was no sugar, so you had to use fake sweetener, and I kind of enjoy the fake sweetener now more than real sugar. What's up, Danielle? Danielle's over here on the YouTube or on the Facebook side. I don't know. I know we got 2 people watching on YouTube. Not sure who they are yet. Announce yourself. What's up, Sean? So, all right. So let's jump into this a little bit. All right. So giving quality information and putting out good content, that's really the whole goal of why I do my YouTube channel, why I go post crazy stuff on Facebook. It's entertaining for me, it's entertaining for you guys, but at the same time, hopefully it's giving you guys some knowledge to take with you for those of you that are getting ready to go into federal prison. And we got Paul Elliott watching, or that might be Paul Muley. I don't know. Paul Elliott doesn't ever go on Facebook, but Paul Muley likes to use Paul Elliott's Facebook. It's kind of strange, Paul. So let's check this out. All right. So going through YouTube, just like you guys, I jump on YouTube and I scatter through it, and I'm always looking for cool things to talk about, different subjects, things like that. So I don't know how I have not come across this guy before. Blows my mind. So I came across this guy named Joe Guerrero. All right. Mm-hmm. Joe Guerrero has a YouTube channel, and it's called After Prison Show. There's a link in my on the YouTube video. There's a link on there, so I'd really like you guys to check it out. So this guy Joe, he did 7 years in prison, and from what I can understand, it looks like it was state prison. At least in the videos that I watched, he didn't specify, and I didn't read anything that specified state or feds, but I'm pretty sure just from watching his videos and the content, it seems like state prison. He went 7 years for a non-violent drug charge, 7 years. And there's actually a video on there titled Why I Went to Prison, and he kind of runs through the whole scenario on what happened with him and how he ended up getting sent to prison. So jumping forward, you watch this guy's first video to where he is now, and he actually got out of prison relatively right around the same time I did in 2015. Looks like it was October 2015. There is a giant difference between our channels, and not just the content. His content is completely very useful content. It's funny, it's entertaining. He puts on a great YouTube channel. His focus is not so much about preparing before you go. His videos are a lot more about like what goes on inside federal prison or prison in general. And he's got some amazing stories. I mean, he talks about the different meals that they make, giving tattoos, making tattoos, just a lot of those general typical questions that a lot of you guys might have that we don't discuss on my channel. So I thought, hey, why don't I start talking about this type of content? But it's kind of veers off of what I normally talk about. So I thought, hey, it'd be better just to talk about this guy and let you guys go check him out for yourselves. So definitely check out his YouTube channel. I thought it was amazing. I'm hooked on it. And the other giant difference between him and me is I've got 600 and something subscribers. He's got 300,000 subscribers, guys. So clearly he's got a quality, entertaining channel that you guys should definitely go check out. He doesn't know, I sent him a message that I was going to do a video on this. He didn't respond, so I don't know if he got the message or not. I imagine he gets tons of messages having 300,000 subscribers. So watching this guy's story was just really, really, you know, the most interesting thing about watching the story is he clearly has identified that he doesn't need to live the type of life that he lived prior to going into prison. He sounds like he's not necessarily remorseful for what happened or wishes he could go back and undo it, because just like if I hadn't gotten in trouble, I wouldn't have Rdap Dan, and there wouldn't be a YouTube video here, and wouldn't be putting out good content for you guys. And this is something that I probably love more than anything I've done in my life. You know, there's family, there's my family, and then there's my dogs, which are part of my family, and then there's my YouTube life. So YouTube comes in a very close second behind my kids, my girlfriend, my animals. I love doing this stuff. I love talking to these people, to you people. And this dude, Joe Guerrero, just is amazing. You guys got to watch his videos. I sound like I'm a fan. I'm your biggest fan, Joe. But no, he's got a pretty awesome channel. So getting ready, and what's federal prison like compared to what you'll hear on Joe's channel, the stuff that I talk about didn't really go on where a lot of you are going to be going. So it's a really good comparison to look to like apples and oranges. So for those of you that are looking at going to like the camp and most lows in federal prison, the stuff that Joe talks about in his videos, you don't see a whole lot of that in the camps or the lows. Not because it's federal, it's just because the level of security is more locked down, and there's not as much time to go get in a closed cell and do tattoos. It's just not, the opportunity doesn't exist. I mean, I was in federal prison and I have, you know, 0 tattoos. I have not one tattoo. Probably the only person that I knew that was in prison with no tattoos. I've met plenty of people that came from, you know, pens, mediums, transferred down to the low, then eventually they made it to a camp. And these guys are completely tatted up. And actually a good buddy of mine who I hope to have on here in the next couple of weeks, this guy Lee Hurd, he's covered in tattoos, and luckily he didn't, you know, tattoo up his face and his neck, so he can still kind of hide it if he needs to. But he told me he went into prison with 0 tattoos and now has, you know, I mean, he's completely tatted up. He's on my Facebook. You guys can check him out. But it's just the interesting of how different where a place where like Joe Guerrero was versus where I was, and the things that you do to pass time. You know, the things that I did to pass time were I exercised a lot. We had an amazing rec yard. We had a half-mile track. We had tennis courts. We had handball courts. We had volleyball. We had basketball. We had 2 full softball fields. I mean, they were like legit softball fields, the clay, everything. So we had a really good outdoor rec system going on. Tons of pull-up bars, dip bars, no free weights, but we had great circuit classes. They had a spin class with the bikes, pool tables if you want to go play some pool, a band room. So there was lots of things to do. Leather shop, and I showed you guys in a last video some of the stuff that I had actually purchased from the leather shop, where I had somebody make like a handbag and a woman's wallet that I had sent home to my girlfriend for when she got released. And then you see the stuff that Joe talks about in prison, talking about making wine and tattoos and not dropping the soap and all of those other things that you guys are probably terrified about when you watch TV. And the things that he had to worry about and look out for were none of the things that I had to worry about and look out for. So it's like two completely different worlds. But yet here we both are with a YouTube channel in the end, talking and trying to put out content and information that is somewhat both entertaining and at the same time, for me, educational. And I believe his information is also educational. A lot of his viewers may not have gone to prison or are not looking at prison time, but for those of you that are potentially going to federal prison, his videos are going to be super educational along with the entertainment. He's a bit of a character. You know, maybe that's what I'm lacking. He's very animated. He does some great job with his editing. That actually brings me to another question. Those of you that are watching, if you could comment on either YouTube or Facebook, I'm interested in what do you guys prefer method-wise? Live videos like I'm doing right now, or do you prefer the edited version of the videos with, you know, titles and all of that fun stuff? Obviously, the benefit to live is I just have to get my content ready, what I'm going to talk about, and sit down and record and hope I don't fumble too bad. Where with a pre-recorded, edited video, I can sit here and mess up a million times and not really think about what I'm saying because I can go back through with the editor and chop it up and add titles and music and try to keep you guys entertained other than with what I'm just doing or saying. So please comment in the comments. I'd really like to hear some feedback on that, see what you guys are thinking. So as you guys know, I have a video that was posted before this one, a live video talking about shady prison consultants. Well, I'm not sure where that's going yet. I received an email from those guys, and I'm not going to mention their name yet until I get clarification on how much I can talk about, so I won't mention their name. You can watch my other video to get the name if you want. But basically, it's a prison consultant that is coaching their clients that are getting ready to go into prison to manipulate the system to try to get what they want, telling them to get drunk the day before they get there, telling them when they're there, their first night or their first morning when they wake up, consume a whole shitload of caffeine and then go to sick call and tell them you're having these massive withdrawals. And somehow this is supposed to help you get into Rdap or put some information into your file. And guys, let me tell you, like, if you're trying to change your life and you're trying not to make the same type of choices and decisions that led you potentially into federal prison to begin with, or state prison, or wherever you may be going, lying and scamming your way through the system is probably not the best bet, because even if you get through doing that, all you've taught yourself is you can cheat the system again while you're in the system. And I believe that will open you up for potentially getting in trouble again later on in life, because you're not taking this as a learning experience. You're thinking that you can just manipulate this like we've manipulated so many other things in the past. So I am going to keep an eye on this. I have emailed an attorney finding out what the legalities are of what I'm allowed to post about other companies. I'm pretty clear I'm not allowed to go on and flat out make up stuff, lie, anything like that. However, everything I said in that video is 100% true. They knew they were being recorded on that call because you guys saw it. I told them, you're on, Rdap Dan's YouTube channel here, you're live. I want to know if these are your shady practices. And they did not like it. They pretty much sent me an email asking me to please play nice, that they have contacted YouTube, and YouTube told them that if I don't remove the video, YouTube is going to ban my channel. Well, of course, I emailed YouTube myself and asked YouTube, and YouTube says that they do not really get involved with the legalities of it. So I decided to keep the video up. And then this morning I received, I'd read the email to you, but I'm running everything right now, so I can't. I received an email this morning from YouTube basically telling me that this company has filed a complaint, and I have 48 hours to make any corrections to the video that may be copyright infringements or things like that. So now they're not saying I have to make changes. They're saying if there's anything in there, I need to make changes. So I'm going to let this thing ride because I do not believe I'm doing anything wrong. If there's a company out there that's using malicious tactics to get their clients and charging them a fee for doing so and giving them deceitful advice, helping them mislead the prison system, helping them mislead counselors in order to further their gains, And in the end result, what's going to happen is they're going to be getting these clients in trouble that are going to end up going to the shoe. So I don't see how the information I posted can hurt in any way. I really feel that, you know, buyer beware. There's plenty of websites out there, Complaints Board and Ripoff Report, and all these places where people can go post their interactions with other people. So if that's the case, I don't see what I did as any different. I think these guys are upset and they're pissed off because, you know, I blew the whistle. I'm like Edward Snowden of YouTube right now. It's like I got this big giant corporate company who's way bigger than me, is very, very, very upset that I posted that video, and they want to squash me right now. And they're very upset that people are responding to that video. So what I have to say is, fuck you. It's your fault for posting and emailing a client on doing some very deceptive things and trying to help him get into Rdap. So needless to say, if YouTube tells me I can keep on posting, now that you're trying to censor me, you better believe I'm going to have a weekly special on this shitty company, and I'm going to expose them left and right. And it's biting my tongue so hard not saying the name of your shitty company. However, there's another video up that you guys can go refer. It came up right before this one, and it talks about exposing a shady company or something of that nature. I do mention the name on there, and I'll leave it all on that video for now. So, needless to say, this is not over. You should have just left it alone, or maybe sent an email apologizing that you had somebody in your company that practices that way. And all it's showing me is that's just the way you guys do things, because you haven't emailed me anything stating, you know, we're going to take corrective action with this. You're only upset that it's online. So it seems like you're mad at the real reason. You shouldn't be mad at me. You should take responsibility for your own actions and look at what you're doing, the content. And you know what? Go back to what your real reason is for getting clients to begin with. Is your reason to truly help people, or is it to open up as many offices as possible? Because you were very clear in telling me you have an office opening in Florida, and you've got one over here, and you got one over there. So I don't know why you're gloating to me. I have a small little office in Spokane, and I have a little kitchen that I film my videos from. I think it's entertaining. So what else we got going on? That's about it, man. It's Friday. We're not open in the office on Fridays, which I know might be weird to the regular world out there. But those of you that work at the office, I'm sure you guys are all happy to be home today. So hopefully you're home. You should be at home watching my YouTube videos. Most of you, look, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel and you haven't liked my channel and you keep coming back and you keep watching, come on, subscribe. I even tried to organize a background here for you so it's not so uninteresting to look at. That little spaceman in the background there, I've had that. That little guy's been around before I was born. I don't know where my mom got it at, but somehow that little USA spaceman has followed me my entire life. He's like a little spaceman goblin. Yep. So here I go. This is where I ramble. This is where you guys let me know. Live videos or edited videos, because I don't know which one you guys like better. But I do feel like Edward Snowden. Well, I'm not looking at the death penalty or anything, which I think is crazy. I don't really think he did anything that any human being shouldn't do. If you're told not to do something and you're told not to give out information, that's fine, as long as the information you're keeping top secret is legit stuff. And once you start finding out that the government's spying on your webcams and watching your phone calls and all of this stuff, how are you not supposed to let people know about that? So Edward Snowden, I hope you get off of this thing somehow. Thank you. Pond2112 prefers live videos, guys. So we got one person preferring live. So speak your mind, or he'll speak for you. We got William Light over. Hey, what's up, Bill? Didn't recognize the William Light. I'm doing good, man. Bill Light is a longtime friend of mine. He's also, his brother is the original Red Ranger. Tidbit you didn't know. So that's a pretty cool little fact. So look, if you guys have questions or there's things that you want to know about, topics that you want to know about, the best way to get those answers is to email me. Post them in these responses on here. Let me know what kind of questions that Claudia. Oh, Claudia, who's on Facebook right now watching, she was in the camp over at Coleman. Same time that my girlfriend Shelly was in the camp, and apparently I used to ride by on the lawnmowers screaming my name, and I always used to hear this lady screaming my name, and I never knew where it came from, and I'm always thinking it's Shelly, and I never see Shelly, so I'm like, God, who's screaming my name? Maybe I'm just hearing things. But Claudia used to ride around on the lawnmowers screaming my name. So what's going on, Claudia? How are you enjoying your freedom? You know, I'm really trying to get done with this federal probation, guys. It's the pits. It's just such a waste of freaking time, man. You got this color line, so every day you got to call. Every day, Monday through Friday, you got to call the U.S. probation little office over there. It's called Rdap, and you have to listen. And if they say your color, like my color is brown 2. If they call brown 2, that means I have until 7:30 that night to go over there and give a UA, a P sample. And it's just such a headache. I can't wait to be done. I mean, of course, I'm not going to pee dirty, and I'll never will pee dirty, even after this is all said and done. It's not about wanting to be able to go out and get messed up. It's just about inconvenience and what I've done to myself. And this nightmare still goes on, but it makes for information for you guys. Alex H, you have to call every day for drug tests on paper. Yes, you do. Except for the weekends. They say you got to call on the weekends, but I know for a fact they're not open on the weekends. So I don't call them on Saturdays and Sundays. And they never actually called me on a Friday. But yes, you have to call. Alex H, once a week, live video maybe. Once a week. I've been doing more than once a week. Alex, what are you on federal probation? Alex says he does not. He just has the monthly report, and that could depend on your, you know, everybody's different. Depends where they're at in their federal probation. If you, the conditions you have, like my conditions, I guess, where I have to P-test 3 times a month. And I know some other people, like another friend of mine, his name also is Alex. He was on the same thing as me, Brown 2, and they just switched him to no more UAs. He doesn't have to do it anymore. Now he just has to do like what Alex said, where he has to just file a monthly report, which sometimes that monthly report is done in person, or they may let you do it online. And I'm trying to get both of those. I'm trying to get my monthly reporting online, so I don't have to go down to U.S. probation office anymore, because that is a pain in the ass. It's just giant inconveniences that you have to deal with. So I try not to let it bog me down. And you might be right, Alex, because of the drug program. Probably has a lot to do with it. I only got 3 years probation. Could be worse. It's not the end of the world. I just want to be done. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to get up and go when I want. I want to be able to go see my kids without getting a travel permit and all of that stuff. It's just, these are the consequences from my actions stemming back. I mean, I got in trouble in 2011, but clearly that's when I got caught. So this goes back to my stinking thinking, my criminal thinking errors, stems back probably to, you know, teenage years. So, you know, ain't gotta live that way no more. So here I am, therapeutically helping myself as well as hopefully helping you guys, processing all this information through YouTube and places like Facebook, and, you know, pissing off these other prison consultants that are out there, giving the rest of us a bad name. I'm always like, how come attorneys hate us so bad? Every time I get a client, a new client, and usually the first time I talk to his attorney or email with the attorney, it's like a very cold email back from the attorney, or the conversation. Like, I'll usually get the client to like eventually get us on the phone together, and the attorney's just very put off by me. So it takes some time. You know, Rdap Dan grows on you. I've got that winning personality, so you can only avoid me for so long. But by the end of all of these situations, and by the end of dealing with most of my clients, the attorneys end up referring me other clients. So just part of the motion. And then I was always wondering why are these attorneys so turned off? And I used to automatically jump to conclusions like, oh, it's their ego, or they don't want to be told anything, or they don't want to look stupid. That's me just justifying because I don't know the real reason. Now I've got some deeper insight, and, you know, they probably hear these horror stories of prison consultants just And I imagine that makes the attorney's job way more harder. You got a prison consultant giving you advice, telling you to go in and lie in prison. You're not there 5 minutes and you're already pulling some shit. So you got attorneys that are trying to undo this mess, hopefully. You got ethical attorneys out there that are trying to undo these messes. And you got these prison consultants that are just all about, here's the thing. You're getting in trouble. You don't know who to believe. You don't know what's next. You've got this giant bowl of anxiety just pouring over you. You don't know what to tell your family. You don't know what to tell your kids. You're trying to imagine yourself in prison. You're trying to imagine yourself in a prison bed surrounded by like prison things, and you don't know what that looks like yet because it's so far unable to grasp that concept. So you start reaching out and you're doing all this scattery research. You're looking up this, you're looking up that. You don't really know where to look, so you're just kind of like halfway looking. And then before you know it, you come across prison consultants, and yeah, they're shirt and ties, and they've gone to prison, and they're telling you how they can walk you through this and release your stress and help you get into Rdap and do all of these things. And then they've got you doing these exercises that are just absurd. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, these guys know, though, they've been there. So they're an authority figure. They've got a website. They've got paid advertising on Google. They must know what they're doing. So you immediately put this level of trust because you really know you need the help. You really know that maybe somebody can give you those answers. So before you know it, you're making these horrible decisions. And at the end, it's only going to affect you. It's not going to affect them because A, most people like you guys never even find out that these guys are doing this kind of stuff because, like, for example, they gave this client this email on his way to prison, literally on his way to prison. He got an email on his phone saying, don't bring this email into prison with you, but make mental notes of this. So now the guy's in prison, and if he did these things, he might be sitting in the shoe right now going, oh, scumbags got me. Wait a minute, I can't tell anybody because I'm in federal prison. You can't email. You can't just call up and talk to somebody. Now you're bound by prison rules. You've got your core link system, which doesn't really allow you to go anywhere except some basic email functions to people that are approved. It's not like you can pick up the phone and call the prison consultant because we all know he's never going to take your call because you're in trouble. So by the time that you actually go to get out of prison, that shit is the last thing you're thinking about because you're thinking about freedom and what's next. You're not worried about the prison consultant that screwed you over, whatever, 24 months to 5, 6, 7 years later. So fortunately, I was able to get my hands on that email on his way into prison. How convenient was that? I did ask him for it. I'm not going to lie. I said, hey, man, I've been doing this for a year, and I'm doing my best to bring on quality clients and put out quality content. And some of these other prison consultants have been around for a long time. And I'm not saying that they're all bad. I'm saying a lot of them are doing good stuff. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I asked them, can you send me some of the emails that they sent you? Because maybe there's some good verbiage I can use with my client. Maybe I can learn something that could help you guys. And he was like, you're probably not going to approve of this email. That's why I haven't sent it to you yet, Dan. And I said, well, now I really want to see it. So can you please, 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 with the cherry on top, send me the email? He did. And I read it. And I was blown away because it's just not what I couldn't believe the guy was going to be that blatantly posting something out there that could potentially get out into public. That's crazy. So clearly the idiot that works for that company was not thinking the potential of sending this email to a client if that client were to ever leak that email out into the public, which Rdap Dan has now done. Yeah. Man, not only does it hurt your company, hurt your reputation, but it shows what you're really trying to do, and it shows what your real purpose in life was. So, what's up, Aaron? Holy moly, Aaron Gunther on Facebook. If you guys are looking for a success story, you guys should go watch Aaron Gunther's Facebook. This guy has not been out of prison very long. I think he's been out less time than me, and he's getting like his master diver's license. He's doing all kinds of cool things for work. Looks like he's living life, making decent money the honest way. And you know, he's all tatted up too. So for you guys that think, you know, all these tattoos are going to ruin your life and you can't move forward from it, and no one's going to give you an honest shake, go tell that to somebody that's been through it. And Aaron will tell you, you know, he's had no easy time making it happen, but the guy kept struggling, kept pushing, didn't give up, kept his eye on the prize, and did not allow, you know, adversity to be a roadblock for him. He just realized it is what it is, and he wasn't going to give up until he got what he wanted. And now when you watch the guy's Facebook, you know, inspiration. So here's to you, Aaron. Cheers. Well, you know, I want to grow my subscriber list here, guys, because, you know, it's I really like to see how many people can take good quality information from what I'm doing. And I know not everybody likes it or understands it, and I read the comments on people on there that are like, oh, you're just a 2-bit scumbag, and, you know, you knew what you're doing was a scam and this and that. And yet, you know, look, I embrace all of those concepts, all of those messages as well, because it really allows me to see where people's minds are on what they think about the system and what I'm doing and what other people like me are going through. And I know not everybody's going through it. So some of you are reading these videos or watching these videos and you're not in trouble. So it's a little easier to just assume and judge and, you know, come to these type of decisions. But those of you that, you know, do watch the videos that are in trouble, that are going through it, I know you guys are watching it for a different reason, because, you know, in some way it's like you're seeing that there's light and hope at the end of the prison tunnel. And there really is, guys. Don't let anybody tell you can't do what you want to do in the end. You just have to make sure you're willing to put in the time and effort in a plan. And not everything happens overnight. You know what I mean? You have to set goals, realistic goals, short-term goals, that each one of those short-term goals is leading somewhere to a longer-term goal. When you stop doing that and you just look at, when I get out, I want to own a company. When I get out, I'm going to go sell real estate. When I get out, I'm going to start a trucking company. It's great to talk about these things, but if you're not doing anything other than talking about it, and you're not researching, you're not taking classes, you're not preparing for it, all it is prison dreams, prison pipe dreams. We've all seen the guy, if you've been to prison, you've all seen the guy walk in the yard telling you when he gets out, he's going to go start selling diamonds and gold, and he's going to make millions of dollars in real estate. And what happens is there's a lot of people that are in prison. A lot of them have never had legit jobs before. That, you know, high-end drug dealers, a lot of illegal activity. And what that's given them is sense of achievement because they've had the money. So they're living the lifestyle like the Joneses next door. They've got the nice car, they might have the nice house, but because they didn't get it honestly, they still want those things. And they're not necessarily prepared to put in the time and effort to get to those things eventually. You can't expect to get out of prison and all of a sudden just start some booming company that's going to take off immediately. Not to say that can't happen if you have the right setup and the right help and the right support and the right resources. But for a lot of us, those resources and support is not just there waiting for you. You have to go through the motions. You have to make this stuff happen. I'm still trying to get my driver's license back. Still fighting to get my driver's license back. It's been since 2014 since I've been able to drive a car. And you know how frustrating it is to not be able to drive right now? It's embarrassing, it's aggravating, it's a giant inconvenience. But I've made it a part of my daily routine. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, I'm working on diligently every week doing what I need to do to get the driver's license back, but it's not a fast process. And if I were to resort to my old behaviors and the way I was before, guess what? I'd be driving right now going, I don't drink and drive. I've never killed anybody. I should be allowed to drive. Who are they to tell me I can't drive? Well, until the cop pulls me over, that's all gravy, right? I might get away with that for a year. I might be getting away with it to this point, and I might not even think anything of it. But the minute something does happen, car accident, speeding by accident, who knows? Anything. I get pulled over and the cop's like, oh, you don't have a driver's license? Oh, you're on probation? I may not go back to prison because of that, but you can probably guarantee I'm not going to get any benefits. Like, I'm not going to get off probation early. They're not going to stop. My probation officer's not going to go on a limb for me if he sees that I'm still making these seemingly unimportant decisions. So it's these type of choices that we all have in our everyday walk of life. Every day, there's tons of decisions and tons of choices. And most of us, a lot of us that are going to federal prison, have gotten so complacent with making poor decisions on a regular basis to justify our actions. I got to keep doing this scam or else I can't provide for my family. That's the Robin Hood syndrome. You know what I mean? You're going to go do things because you think you're helping somebody else. Really? Come on, let's be honest. You're doing it for yourself. You like driving to work in the nice BMW or the nice Mercedes. You like putting on the expensive clothes. Who wouldn't like that? Nobody out there can say they wouldn't like those things. But not everybody's willing to do what we were willing to do to get those things. I used to do illegal socials, guys. That's one of the things that I used to do that I never got in trouble for. I used to do illegal socials to where people that needed new social security numbers, that needed good credit, people that had completely destroyed credit, I would get them new numbers and I would build trade lines and I would do all of these things so they could go out and have 700 credit scores and go out and do what they want to do, knowing very well what they were probably going to go do with it, go get access to loans and money and never actually pay any of it back. So here I am out in the world running around crazy doing this stuff, charging people absurd amounts of money to do this. And all I'm doing is potentially creating I mean, just think, if it didn't work, somebody paid me a ton of money, they could be angry, coming looking for me, you know, not to mention wanting to fight, maybe wanting to kill me, hurt my family, hurt my animals. So many other people get put in harm's way when you make these choices. You know, your family's living in these houses that you're have them living in with all of this illegal money. And you're putting them in danger every day because they may be aware of your illegal activities and turning a blind eye to it. That makes them just as guilty. That makes them non-pro-social, makes them not positive people. And these are things that we got to look at. We got to look at our friends and family on what they're willing to say and do. If your wife, if your mom, if your dad knows of your illegal activities and was standing by you the whole time you were doing it, and they weren't there in the background going, you need to stop doing this, don't bring this around me, and they weren't holding you accountable, and now all of a sudden they're upset with you because you got in trouble, that's, you know, you got to really look at that type of relationship because those are considered unhealthy relationships. We want to surround ourselves with healthy relationships, and the best way to do that is hold people accountable for what they're doing. If you know you're on probation and your buddies with this guy Joe, and Joe happens to still be, you know, selling drugs, messing with pills, doing things that he shouldn't be doing, and you're still associating with Joe, you're not doing Joe any favors and you're not doing yourself any favors. The hard thing to do is tell Joe, man, I can't associate with you, bud. You know, I liked our friendship, I liked where it was going, but I can't associate with that type of person anymore because that's not the type of life I want to live. So if you're going to continue to live that lifestyle, we're going to have to go our separate ways. But if you're bringing around me, I'm going to have to let the authorities know because I can't put myself at risk for you. Already been there and done that. Don't want to do it again. So, and it's hard to do because it's breaking the way that most of us have thought. Oh, that's snitching. That's telling on somebody. Fuck that. You want to show up at my house with drugs, with guns, and you want to come hang out and kick it and watch TV? How the fuck do I know who's not watching you? How do I know you're not being surveillanced by the cops? And now you're hanging out in my house. I'm not getting in trouble for you. I'm done with that, man. I'm done. Not going down that road ever again. Conspiracies are not for me. They were not a friend of mine. I am not a friend of theirs. It took me away from my family, took me away from my girlfriend, took me away from my kids, took me away from my animals, took me away from my belongings, took me away from everything that I thought could never be taken away from me. Gone. Just like that. Boom. And here we are now, you know, more than a year later, and I'm still fighting to get this stuff back. Every day. Every day is a struggle. The struggle is real. Anybody that tells you it's not is lying. So that's about all we're going to talk about on this video today. It's probably been long enough. I do appreciate your guys' comments. Kevin, hey Dan, I like your videos. Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate you watching today. all of you guys that are on here that support the channel. You know, the best way to do that is subscribe, like, and share, comment, tell your friends and family about it. And if you know about some shady shit going on with other prison consultants, if you are a victim of a prison consultant that is doing you wrong and you can back it up, you bring it to me and we will expose it on the Rdap Dan show. Snowden style. All right, guys, keep it real. I'm going to go ahead and end this right here. I got to find out where I ended at. All right, so we're going to go ahead and end the YouTube. Later.